build or destroy your professional career, and entrepreneurial for that matter? That is the topic today. We have executive coach Youssef Skalli, founder of Scalability Coaching and known as the Walking Coach. We'll talk about that. And of course, we have our great co host, Dortha Hise, who is an AI and automation strategist. And she's also our editorial director of all things PWT Publishing. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Happy to be here.
So, Yusuf, we'll start with you. You work with a lot of executives, you do a lot of corporate facilitation, and you're just overall a great guy. And by the way, you have great social media engagement with your brand. So we want to hear about that. What's the word? What's the word? How are people engaging and embracing the need for technical literacy to succeed?
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. First of all, just a disclaimer, I have been out of the social media in recent months for personal reasons. However, I still see automation, social media, and AI as a foundation for the future. It's here to stay. For me, the word today is that we see, first from AI perspective, is that AI can give us a lot of answers to different questions, different problems, different challenges, can provide solutions and answers. We humans will continue to give meaning and to those solution and to those answers. And for me, it's really important to understand that, and that's what I work with my clients who are a bit of fearful toward the rise of the AI. Now, when it comes to social media, I have been, like many, trying to figure out what is the algorithm and how it works and what
We call it
drives
Bigfoot.
yeah, exactly, what drives engagement and whatnot. And then, to be fully transparent, I gave up to trying to understand the algorithm. Why? Because I came to the conclusion from my own experience that the algorithm is me. It's what I engage,
Ooh.
what I engaged with. And the more I engaged with the certain topics, the more I get exposed to them. So then I said, okay, so instead of blaming the different social media platform, and I'm not saying that there are angels there, but just just for me to take ownership of how the algorithm is treating me, understand that, and taking a bit of a control over what I engage with. And then I started projecting that on the people who I want to engage with my content. And okay, so if people are engaging with the different line of thoughts that what I stand for, then those are not my people. Those are not the people
Mm.
that I am. Those are not the people that I am coaching. So why I will keep chasing them? So that's how I see it.
That was very powerful. I am the algorithm.
Mhm.
That just blew my mind. It's been that kind of day. But it's so true, because we jokingly refer to the algorithm as Bigfoot in the show. And because we just don't, I mean, it's real, but we just really don't know. So do not play to or design your content to an algorithm that is so proprietary that really no one knows. And it changes every day, right? So, right.
Exactly.
Like Garfield, just when I figure all life's answers, they change the questions, right? Like is on it's been that kind of day. We're quoting Garfield. It is it, you're absolutely right. So really, a fusion of optimized content and organic, like intentional organic,
Absolutely.
is the way to go. Dortha, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think, some days you feel like posting a video, some days you feel like sharing something that makes people laugh. I mean, I was just on I think it was Facebook a little bit ago, and somebody posted something, and it was just this picture, and the comment was that he posted with it was, "This makes me smile, makes me happy."
Mm,
And there's something to be said about that, because it's not about performative. It's not about what we're talking about here, the Bigfoot, the algorithm. It's, posting what's in your lane, so to speak, and it will reach the right people that it's intended to reach.
mm.
I believe in that, even when you're not paying or boosting.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Building on that,
Yeah.
um, if you are in an interdisciplinarian,
Hmm.
what is your lane?
It's a great question.
That's a very, very good question, and especially now in the AI era, and the social media reach, I would say it's easy and tricky to be multidisciplinary somehow. Yet for me, it's that
Yet is a requirement,
yes, yeah,
really, to be a generalist.
well,
There's an element of requirement to that.
it it depends, of course, on the fields you are operating in.
Mhm.
In some fields, they are still looking for specialists, but in general, yes, I would say. And to me, it's that technology, yes, it's there. AI is there. It will stay. And yes, the big question: will machine replace people?
Mhm.
But to me, the deeper transformation, it's not the replacement. So the main lane I see now is the most valuable human contribution, where it becomes the human judgment, the empathy, the ethical decision making, the
Mhm.
the,
Mm.
the human creativity, and the human connection. So Dorta was mentioning that comment of that made me smile. That's so powerful. It sounds as a mundane comment, but that's so powerful. Something that made you smile, and usually we smile when we feel a certain level of joy, and that's no algorithm, no AI will make you feel that. Even
Mhm.
if you ask any AI MLL model to write for you jokes, you will read them. It won't be the same smile if it's coming from a human, or the
Yeah.
same laughter. So to me, the hidden challenge in this era, it's really not technological. In my opinion, it's emotional. It's really emotional. It's how we deal with our fears from technology. It's
From an emotional intelligence
from
standpoint.
an emotional intelligence, and what I call emotional adaptability. It's that how do I stay relevant? How is my expertise becoming obsolete or still needed, or how can I augment it using the AI? Am I still needed as a person? And that goes beyond the professional
Listen,
background. I, yeah,
technology and automation have been replacing humans since the wheel.
yeah. I wrote
That's
an
the
article.
reality of
Yeah,
it,
I
right?
wrote an article that got a huge engagement, which was, where do babies come from? Ask dad or ask AI.
Hmm.
I,
What answers?
the
That
question.
is such a brilliant question.
Yeah, but
Tell
it's
us
not.
more.
It was
Tell us
never
more.
this question that almost every kid asked at a certain moment was never about about the answer. It was about that moment between the parent and the child, creating that connection and trying to answer the question without going too descriptive, and at the same time giving a certain level of information that is useful for the kid. So to me, it's that I don't see AI as a threat, except when it becomes a complete substitute to those moments, those smiling moments, those conversations. And that's why I call in my line of work, I talk about cognitive and emotional atrophy, which is if we just delegate everything to AI without having a purpose, without intention, then I might just shut in my brain and my
Well,
heart.
it's like abdication by delegation, right? After the introduction of the calculator, how many of us can do mental math?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
simple stuff, like we just reach for the phone to like reach for that
yeah.
calculator. Dortha,
Hmm.
when entrepreneurs come to you, because you deal a lot with solopreneurs
Mhm.
in several disciplines, when they come to you seeking AI and automation, what are they really asking for? What I mean by that is, you know how hairdressers really do not sell haircuts,
Mhm.
right? They
Yep.
sell personal image, right?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
are they really asking you for?
Uh, I think in a word, it would be freedom.
Mhm.
Um, and at a deeper level, it's understanding the first of all, staying current, right, is very important for a lot of people, and especially for a small business owner, because if you don't know what's trending or what's hot in your market, that can be how you get left behind. It's one of the ways for sure. So I think a lot of people, it's relevance and it's freedom. So I think it's the blend of those two things, and it's how does this fit into my world, right? Like I do work with a lot of people in the wellness space, and
Mhm.
typically they are more hands off with technology than a lot of people. They want to be in with their clients. They want to be in
That's
that
right.
community and in that space, and as they should be, because that's where their genius is.
Right.
And that's why someone like me is a great partner for someone like them, because my genius is behind the computer. Also out front of the computer, but behind the computer, because I'm able to help weave those things together for them so that they know those systems are in place and that they can trust that they're doing what they are supposed to be doing. So when someone signs up for something, it delivers the thing, for
And with
example.
Summit to Your Success, you
Mhm.
straddle those two worlds, not only just
Mhm.
the automation, but also your somatic practice. So when you are helping healers
Mhm.
in people within the health industry automate, you speak their language.
I do. Yeah.
You understand what they're talking about.
Yeah.
And they speak
So,
mine, I'll say. Like, not a lot of my clients, over the years have spoken the, hey, go out and put your feet in the dirt and get some grounding in for a few minutes. Not everybody understands that as a process for,
mhm.
disconnecting so that they can come back stronger and reconnect more fully.
Yeah, for sure. And I find um especially it's generational, right? So Gen X in boomers, I would like to say Gen X, that's kind of the cutoff. That we're not digital natives, right? Is something that we've had to adapt um, at a time when we were adults, right? Like we had to unlearn and relearn. So right now, a lot of people, I'm shocked when I meet a lot of executive and professionals that think AI doesn't affect them, that they really think. I've met partners from like me, like the highest floor and the tallest tower that will tell me I have not ever even tried ChatGPT, and it's just like, what does that mean? Like, not from a place of judgment, right? Because I understand you have assistants, you got a whole IT department, you got all of that, right? But really, AI and automation literacy, just as much as social media for business. I'm not speaking personal social media, which we will touch on, because social media will destroy your career faster than anybody or anything can. However, I don't think being resistant to AI and automation and technology is something we can afford for true thought leadership. Um, what do you guys think? Like, can people, oh, I have assistants that take care of that? Not being really, is that the new literacy?
Uh, Personally, I think that this is missing the the train, if I may call, of the new leadership advantage, or the new leadership and the new leadership demand as well. Because in the past and for years, leaders often meant that being a leader is that meant having all the answers, solving all the problems, having the expertise. But today answers are everywhere on social media and with AI.
That's
Uh,
right.
so leadership now means something completely different. That all the theoretical books that we read and has been written about leadership today, big part of them are coming to fruition. That
And be
the
prepared to be challenged
yeah,
by
exactly.
all the
So,
people.
so today I see that if we are not first people who say AI cannot replace me, you can't know that if you don't.
Said the person whose name we cannot remember.
But just to say, this you cannot know it if you don't use AI. And for me, the more we will use technology, the more we will understand what cannot be replaced, and not the other way, and not the other way around.
I
That's
like that. It's almost like you got to know the rules before you break them.
yeah, absolutely. And the other
Mhm.
thing is that, again, I talk about the uncertainties that are coming from everywhere, including the technology, but there are different uncertainties. AI sure will never provide the psychological safety. But
Mhm.
if you, as a leader, do not have that psychological safety within you, and you are fearful for a new development that is everywhere, then how you can provide that psychological safety, and how you can set the ground for it with the people you are working with, whether you are an entrepreneur or an organization leader or a coach or whatever is your field. That's the first thing. And then, as Dorta said, and I look at it that way, whether it is delegation or automation, they go hand by hand in my opinion. But then the core idea is that that means that something, a task, a responsibility that I was doing and I was dedicating time to, now it's being done by someone. So what I will do with that time that I am gaining,
Mm.
first taking care of myself, so that I can take care of others. Second, I can be helping people that I am influencing to navigate those uncertainties, to interpret the complexities, to stay aligned with the values, and most importantly, to feel seen and supported. Because what happens for decades again is that whether you are working 9 to 5 or you are working 8 to 8, in some cases, that people are so exhausted and so lost in details that they don't have any time to deal with this human part of the leadership and the human part of the work. So for me, I see it as an opportunity to focus on that.
And I think missing out on really becoming proficient in utilizing AI and automation as a tool, which is what it's designed to be, is a machine that helps accelerate, just like a calculator, helps you do better math, or a car gets you there faster. If you do integrate it and implement it as a tool, not something, I think the minute that we begin to think of it as a greater source and power than ourselves, there are an ability to discern and our ability to know, right, what's what's right or wrong. I'll tell you an example. And actually there's tons of clips like it on TikTok and in YouTube. I think mainly on TikTok, and and I love it, right? Because I mentioned prior that as a leader, right, if you're just using old textbook knowledge or old experience, and you are responsible for people or you're putting content out there, be prepared to be challenged because everything can be vetted now,
Yeah.
right? Like in seconds.
Mhm.
But I was asking AI, and I'm actually teaching my realtors how to utilize AI in Gemini to, do better market research on their own listing, where something before was really left to experience, right? And it wasn't intentional that I was teaching them. I just happened to mention that I was curating my listing through Gemini and AI. And I was saying, so what's wrong with this listing? How can it be better? Like, what do like dissect it, right? So one of the things that came back on the images that I provided, and I said, how can you optimize these images, right? Because it's such a competitive market, right? So one of them, I forget which one, so we shall protect the innocent AI, said, things like the dog bowl, water bowl, should be removed. I'm like, excuse me? Can you show me in these pictures where the water bowl is? Because I know for a fact there isn't one, right? And it's like, well, on the third picture, show me, circle it. Like, tell me where in this image there is a dog bowl, water bowl, right? And there's been tons of AI challenges, like mind games, if you must call it, to show that yes, AI and automation technology still needs human discernment, right? And what Youssef said is you can no longer sell the answers or information because that has become democratized and is human rights at this point to have access to this information. But the discernment and the calculation and the valuation, in your case, Dortha, the
Mhm.
connecting the dots for a better flow and experience of someone's clients,
Mhm.
right? The
Yep.
machine cannot do that. Like
No.
it still has to have human intervention, and really, everything is experiential now.
And to that point, I will share that I was in an argument with my AI yesterday, or maybe it
Ooh.
was the day before. We had gone back and forth. I provided screenshots and I said, "This is what we're doing. Here's the workflow," right? Sent all the things. And it was the client changed their mind. Shocker, it happens. On when we were sending something. So I had to go back into the workflow, change it up. And this particular tool, who shall also remain unnamed for the privacy of how terrible it is, it after I changed everything, it started sending everything twice. And it's one of those glitchy, weird ghost things that even though you killed the automation, you untagged everyone, retagged them, and changed the configuration, it still thought, oh, this thing is running over here somewhere in the phantom background. So I had to go back and forth with the tool I was using, the AI, to figure out the time difference that I needed to set up these emails to go out. And in order for them to go out when the client wanted it to hit certain times, inboxes at certain times in Europe, based on my time zone in Pacific time. So it was a very big, get the calculator out, do the math. Also, though, knowing that I'm like, no, that timing isn't right. That's not going to work. We need to go back and go back. And it's to that exact point, Carolina. We can't just trust the output that the machine is giving us just because it's the machine. It's not,
Yeah.
bona fide
Yeah.
fact. Yeah.
Yeah, I would like just to 2 weeks ago, I was approached by an AI guru, and
I
and I
thought you
was,
were going to say I
I
was
like
just
the guru
approached by AI.
on the
I'm
and I
street.
was,
curious to see where this is going.
and I was curious to know what they had to offer.
Mhm.
So the person went through my profile, knew a bit about me, what I do, and the whole sales pitch was, we can build an AI agent for you
Mhm.
that can do your coaching for you, so you won't have to coach anymore. And
Oh,
then you will gain money like 24 hours a 7. And I was like, but that's not what I mean, that's not what I want to do. And then how? So, but I was curious, and we were going through the conversation, and it was just a cycle of taking different elements from different researchers, different articles, different websites, putting them together, taking my publications, putting them together, and selling them to people.
Sort of like the GPT that you wrote, Dortha, kind of.
Except mine is just a GPT. It's not actually doing the coaching. I think
No, but I meant
Youssef is
So the logic behind in terms of interaction must be
yeah.
like the GPT
Yeah.
you did, but the whole idea was a full ecosystem from start to finish where I am not present, and with the
what
client.
would be the attractiveness to that? There's a lady, and again, we're protecting the innocent today. It's a long story. But
I
there's a
want just to
lady that,
continue on that. I want just to
yes,
continue on this because for me, I see it as a danger, especially in the coaching field.
Agreed.
That's I see it as a danger
Mm.
because to me it's that in this AI era, my biggest currency is my human presence.
That's right.
And my clients get surprised when I ask them bluntly, did you ask any AI these questions that you are raising
oh,
today? And they
I like that.
and they say what? And most of them, 90%, they already did.
like WebMD,
But because
self-diagnosed before you came.
they think that this will offend me as their coach if they tell me. So I open the door for them. And then I encourage them even to do it more. I tell them, come and we will discuss that. We will interpret that. I will be there to listen fully to you, to pay attention to your interpretations of the answer, and to be really emotionally available with you on that and creating that space for you where you can explore the answer. So yes, it makes my coaching more efficient that way rather than having the session, because I had clients before who would have a session with me. We will exchange and explore different areas, and then they will come after 2 weeks with a completely different approach. And then I could sense that ChatGPT speaking. It's not the client that I met 2 weeks ago. And I say, you know what? I'm not competing with any AI. There is no. I'm not there to compete with AI.
Plus, it's not about quantity. Look, what we do as clinicians and practitioners is the quality, is that bank of knowledge and research and study and all of that, and the ability to not give a quick one answer fits all,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Is
To listen.
interesting. So
And
interesting.
and to be able to weave in, oh, a few weeks ago we talked about this, and like maybe that's something that's shadowing in that conversation at the present moment, right? And AI they can't remember, like you have to tell it, go back and remember, reflect, go look at that document, whatever it might be. You have to be the one that tells AI that. As a human, the
Yeah.
person, the presence, you're saying, oh, Youssef, yeah, you remember a few weeks ago we talked about this and you said da 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 da. And like how's that working with you now? Like what is that experience like for you in this context? Are you still working through it? Those are the things I think really that differentiate, that quality you're talking about, Carolina, and versus just
Right.
mass production. I've been hearing that same kind of thing, Youssef, about, oh, you can just replace yourself with an AI and it just, I don't know.
And it's not about replacing, really, it's not about
Mm-mm.
replacing anyone. It is about transforming the way we do things.
Enhancing.
That's so really at a leadership level, in an entrepreneur, where you're a thought leader, entrepreneurial, you're a rising, star in the workforce. Being AI and automation illiterate will damage your career. Do you need to be a coder, programmer? Like, no. But you do need to have a basic understanding of how does it impact what you do, and those you serve. And we'll continue having conversations about that.
Yeah,
And Yusuf, we appreciate your insights into executive presence and professional mobility and its impact on technology.
yeah.
And
If I want to leave, if you allow me just to leave the audience with one key questions to me and to reflect on, because there is no more question about how intelligent will AI or will the machines become. It will continue being there, but to me the real question to reflect on, it's really how intentional will we be about remaining human and not trying to replicate or to do what AI do and say I can do it better, but how I can remain human and even become more human.
I
Thank you.
love it. I love it.
Mhm.
Dortha, last words?
I don't know how I could improve upon that. I mean, I think, just remembering that you don't always have to be the smartest person in the room. I think is the companion piece I would say to that, and it's the thing I feel leaders are a little bit struggling with and feeling like, oh, but if I don't know, then that makes me look weak, and it doesn't. It actually having smarter people around you helps enhance and uplift everyone in the room.
You have to be the best student in the room.
Yes, for
And
sure.
thank you, everybody. Brilliant.
Thank you.
We'll come
Thank
back
you.
to how social media can build or destroy your career. Just social media. So thank you to our Bigfoot algorithm and to Youssef and Dortha. Until next time.